In 5 years, I'd say I've had maybe just a couple comments about how people wish I would change my personality for this channel. And that's what I want to talk about. And I wasn't going to address it. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, I do need to address it. Not only because it helps my viewers who might be new to this channel to understand, maybe who I am, but it helps people who want to be creators also understand that you kind of have to stick to your guns. Okay, so let's talk about this here. All right. I got a note the other day from somebody, and I left it up because, like I said, I'd leave comments up, okay, that said, quote, and I'm trying to remember it to the best of my ability, I would like to see you, I'm quoting here, I really like your content, but I would like to see you be less snarky. Snarky. Okay. I don't think of my personality as snarky. That's not how I would define myself, but I understand that to some people it may come out like that. And I actually wrote the person back and I said, thank you. This just happened like yesterday or the day before. I said, thank you for sharing your opinion, but I'm not changing it. Kind of like that Gone with the Wind, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. But I also don't want to come across wrong to people who are brand new to this channel, because the only impression you have of me is what you see in a first video. So I want to clarify some things, okay? As a creator, and if you should ever become a YouTube creator, I will tell you this, it is a crap load of work. And to say it is a crap load of work, I have done a full-time and a part-time job, okay? Now, not considering the full-time job, but considering the part-time job, this is 10 times harder. This is 10 times more mentally taxing. It's not physically taxing for the most part, okay? But it's mentally draining being a YouTube creator. And one of the things, if you're going to be a YouTube creator and you are going to last long-term on a YouTube platform, you have to stick to your natural personality. This means if your personality is slightly sarcastic, slightly snarky, if your personality is maybe very quiet and reserved, if your personality is very talkative, whatever your personality is, if you don't stick to your true personality, I can pretty much assure you, you are going to burn out on YouTube. Not only are you going to burn out on YouTube, your audience isn't really going to know who you are because you are playing a character versus being yourself. Now, follow me here for a second, okay? I have actually been on this platform for half a decade. I have not been really aggressive until about the last year. The rain is coming, so I apologize for any extra noise. I've not been really aggressive until I would say the last 3 years that I decided I was really going to move this channel. Like, it had to blank or get off the pot. So I think part of the reason I've been able to sustain these 5 years while I've moved this channel is because I've always just been myself. You could sit down with me in person. You could talk to me on the phone, okay? I am exactly the same way. There is no change. So when someone says to me, I would like to see you, I'm going to be really honest in a courteous way. Okay. First off, the only person that should be telling me I would like to see you do such and such is perhaps a boss who's paying me because I'm on the payroll. I could understand my boss if she said, oh, somebody's driving a vehicle with their music really loud. I could see a boss coming up and saying, Carrie, I'd really like to see you do such and such with the curriculum, or I'd really like to see you. I got you on that. I feel you. I respect it. You're paying me to do a job. That's my job, is to respond to what you request. I could even see my mother saying that. But I got to be really honest. As a YouTube creator who's put in half a decade of work on this channel, who has put in over, get ready, thousands of dollars. Not unreasonable thousands. But you figure I've been on the channel half a decade, and figure what it's cost me in equipment and everything else. Yeah, 10 grand isn't unusual. Not unusual, okay? Not talking like 50, 60, don't worry, I'm not going out. But you're talking half a decade. So when someone says, I would like to see you be less snarky, quite frankly, I don't give a damn. Now, again, I don't want to come across as wrong, okay? I really, really put myself out there financially. I really, really try to share with you a lot about my stupid mistakes. But you have to also understand that part of the way that I deal with my financial trauma, if you want to call it, the way I deal with my mistakes, guys, we have to be very upfront about the mistakes that we see people do financially. And we have to be very upfront about, at least with me, I apply myself to the situations that I see. And part of my personality, I can be a bit on the sarcastic side. Again, I don't see myself as snarky, but I can't help what someone else sees me as, okay? I mean, if somebody sees me as snarky, that's fine. One thing they'll never see me as is quiet and shy. And you'll notice on this channel, I laugh at myself. Not in a way that degrades me. You should never laugh at yourself in a way that insults or degrades you. But I can laugh at myself. I can laugh at myself that, yeah, I talk a lot. And you know what? To people who say that that's just a horrible thing, may I show you my silver YouTube play button? As I told my stepmom, I said, I'm finally feeling rewarded for all the years of gabbing and nobody would listen to me. But you will find, okay, that I absolutely have my audience's best interest at heart. And I cannot literally tailor my personality, nor will I try, nor do I have a desire to try, okay, to tailor it so that if you write in and you say to me, I'd really like you to, review something like this, I'd like less of your opinions and judgment. Here's something I've come to realize, and I realized really quickly when I decided to go from being a fitness channel and I was going to do reactions to debt. There is nothing you can listen to regarding debt that you cannot judge. It is impossible. There is no debt story you can hear objectively. It's impossible. You may say you're objective. You may say, yes, I'm listening to everything, but from the get-go, from the time you hear, I am $50,000 in student loans, because you've already made a judgment. From the time you hear, I let my boyfriend move in and his 4 children. Oh, yes, you're already making a judgment. And to the person that wrote the comment, I actually respect you for writing that comment, because you have a right to think that I'm snarky. You have a right to think that my opinion, that I'm over opinionated, that I'm judgmental. You actually have that right. And that's why I left your post up, because you see, I don't care if you disagree with me or not. Matter of fact, disagreement is good sometimes. You should not agree with everything I say. But one thing I will die on a cross for, I will not adapt my personality. This channel is not going to change the way I present, how I present, the things I say, the thoughts, the beliefs I have. Okay. And it is something that, I genuinely believe has actually helped me to build the channel. If I had tried to adapt to what every single person had ever told me to do, and she's not the first one that has said that, but I have to be honest, I haven't had very many comments like that. Like, I can't even count on one hand in 3 years, okay? I won't count the 2 years I was an exercise channel. But if I actually tried to adapt, you guys wouldn't really know who I am. Okay, I hate to shout out names here, but okay, Haley, if you watched a lot of videos. Hi, Haley, okay? She's given me time or I should say she's taken time to get to know me. And I think what happens a lot of the times, in all honesty, is it's very easy to watch a creator where they are today and come up with judgments that may seem negative, when in reality, if you had watched that creator from the very, very beginning, if you had been a Dewey, a Parler, a Jamie, a Home with Love, somebody who had really gone from the beginning, and then you see the personality today, I think you would find it seemed, I don't know, using this person's words, it would seem less snarky. I'm very careful when I watch YouTube channels, and of course that's all I watch. I watch YouTube channels because I don't have cable. I'm very, very careful that if I'm going to criticize a YouTuber, I'm going to be honest, I'm never going to criticize in writing, at least their personality. In other words, and you have the right to do it. You guys can write me all day to tell me to change my personality, because there's something I've learned. That YouTuber does not owe it to me to change their personality. Okay? The YouTuber is the one who's put the money into the channel, put the investment into the channel, has built the channel, continues to build the channel. It's kind of my thought is, who am I to sit there and write to them and say, I think you should react like this, or I think you should say this, or I think you should be less judgmental. If we want to talk judgmental, Caleb Hammer, financial audit, yes, which I'm going to wait until school is out to start, and I'm going to do a trial run on him, okay? You want snarky, you want downright what people would say is cruel and mean. The guy's got over 2 million followers. As a matter of fact, I'll be totally honest. If I really, really, really wanted to make this channel even bigger, faster, I just need to become meaner. But I think you'll notice, at least those who have followed me for a long time, I just get more, I get more, I won't say intelligent, I get more in depth about what I understand, but I don't get meaner because that's just not my style. So when somebody writes to me and just says, I think you're mean or whatever, and I see the comments sometimes, okay, I'm like, dang, don't you guys really look at channels that are just like mean? And here's the thing, I don't even think Caleb Hammer is mean. I think Caleb Hammer is partly an act. Matter of fact, I think Caleb Hammer is more of an act than I am. I'm not an act at all. Hold on just a second, I'm at school. I gotta make sure I don't hurt any teachers. Okay, I'm gonna honk my horn just for a second. I always honk it when I'm backing up because I'm in a school parking lot. So just give me a second. Okay, there's the horn honk. So when people sit there and they say that, man, you're just such a mean YouTuber. I've got a few minutes, I'm early. I sit and I think to myself, don't you follow other channels that make my channel look tame? I mean, seriously. And at times I've even thought my channel was a bit on the boring side because I don't sit there and go, oh my God, how could you? And they'll S-bomb that. I don't do that. So I don't want to be disrespectful to the person who wrote the comment, but I'll be really honest. I don't give a damn. If you like the channel, you like it. If you don't, I respect it. I have worked really, really hard, and I have made many mistakes, and I have continually tried to build this channel. And what's interesting is, and I had a friend say it to me once. She said, why do people think they can write in and tell you how to do something that you spend your money on? I don't know. It's kind of like me sitting and going, I really don't think you should drive that car. Yep, that car is not yours. Well, it is your car. You can drive it. Now I can look at it and say, man, I don't think that was a good financial choice. I wouldn't have a car like that. But for me to directly tell you, I think you need to change your car. Well, it's your car. You're the one who's paying for it. We can sit and learn from your mistakes if you go on social media and you say, oh my God, I can't afford the car. But one thing you've never heard me say is, oh my God, I can't afford my YouTube channel. I can afford my YouTube channel. I afford it quite nicely. Okay. So I don't leave comments. I love the comments. And by the way, if you guys will notice, I've tried to start making it so we're very social. I'm a very social person. So I love it when people leave comments because it's social. And you'll also notice there's a quiet room. I've tried to adapt to that. In other words, I've tried to make a lot of adaptations, but the one thing I cannot, and I will not, and I refuse to adapt to is to change my personality so that somebody thinks I'm more of what they want. It ain't going to happen. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tonight. TikTok, student debt. Bye, everyone.